Morning. Gravel on your driveway. Today's video, I'm going to show you not only what's the best gravel I think to use and how we shape this and how we compress this to make it almost look like, almost drive like a paved road. The funny thing is, the funny story I'll begin with is my UPS driver pulled up and he said, man, he said, you have the nicest gravel driveway I have ever driven down. Now he drives down a lot of gravel driveways. Ours is nicely coned, nicely convex, and nice little curve to it, and it is packed and it is so smooth. It is so smooth. If you want to know real quick, crush and run or crush or run is what I really recommend, not only to build your base but to actually get that final. I'll show you how I put it down, the spreader trucks that we use versus doing dumped, and how I shape it and how I compact it, because there is a little trick to this. And let me tell you what, after 3 years, none of these roads existed that I'm going to show you. None of these roads existed. And we have close to 2,000 feet of roads, more than that. And we've been doing this for 3 years. This is probably about my 4th time, and I've got the roads just where I want them. It's absolutely perfect. So here we go. Morning. Doc, why are you up at 5 a.m. every day? This is why, because I know my gravel guys always show up early. They're at my gate. It is now 7:33, and they're at my gate. So today we're going to talk about the best gravel for driveways. There's always conversation about this, but by far, I'll tell you right up front, crush or run is the way to go to lock things up. But I'll talk about if you have muddy spaces. If you have muddy spaces that are dropping down, I'll talk about how we fixed ours out here, because we had a bunch of them. I mean, trucks would sink down in them. But I will not have a dump truck, and I'll explain why. I want a spreader truck, and you'll see it's almost like a lawn spreader on the back. Dude, there are no mistakes. There is no, oh, I hit a bump, I hit reverse, and I have an extra load down. This is just an absolute perfect amount. I want that much. I want about 1.5 inches on top of all these roads. So when he changes his incline, it won't matter. If he goes decline, it won't matter. He doesn't have to worry about lifting his bed, his tailgate coming loose. Is just absolutely perfect, and he can put that whole load down. Matter of fact, I'll probably measure it for you guys. I'll see where he started and I'll pace it off, and I'll show you how far 1 truckload of this will go. I think that's important. This is precise. This is why I love this stuff. So I have a skid steer rented for a week because I have a couple projects here I need to do, and then I want to pack this down. I think it's important to pack your crush or run. Doc, why don't you do it? Why don't you do it with your new tractor? Way too much wear and tear, way too slow, and I don't want those big tractor wheels on here. I'm just telling you, skid steer is it. With a free floating bucket, and I can rip. I'm fast with a skid steer, dude. I'm pretty good with a skid steer. So this is where he started, at the front of the house here. And what I want to do is I want to pace this off. But let me see, this other guy's over here. Same drivers I've had for years. They're great, man. They're really good. But he's backing in. Like I said, he can back into these tight areas, and he can really nail what he's doing over here. So he just turned it on. Now he's going back. Then he'll shut it off. Right about now, he'll shut it off. So I told him at my gate, here's one of the things at my gate. Up at my gate, it's sort of a slope up. And so trucks stop there and they got to kind of gun it to pull out. And when you put down 57 gravel, tires spin and it just leaves big ruts. Ever since I put down crush or run, there's no more of that. I mean, you get a little of it, but man, it locks down quick. Okay, so this is what 57. This is what your gravel looks like. This is what crusher run looks like. See all that fine sandy kind of material? And that's what you can pack down. Trucks are all done and I'm up here compacting, leveling, whatever you want to call it. One note I did want to give you is, obviously I want my roads to have a hump in the middle. I want them convex in the middle. Allows the water to roll off and I don't have that muddy stuff. So a lot of people will just focus on the center of the road and I drag my bucket backwards flat. I use that back edge. I come back. It's hard on the neck because you gotta stay turned around. But here's what they won't do. They'll leave a pile, they'll leave a hump on the side here. And so when the water comes, it sort of gets trapped here. And what you need to do is, the trick is when you do this, is to put the center, see how the center of my skid steer is off the road here? That's about, it's actually a little bit more that way. But I want the center of that right where this hump is. When I do that, I'll actually take down this side and create more of this hump in here. Okay, so here's a good example. Yeah, I think you can see the hump here. So water runs off this way and water runs off this way. And I basically put my skid steer right on the center of that line just to shape that downward. You don't have to do this on your normal roads. You just have to shape your roads, and once it rains, it'll lock up. But I've learned this is a real steep grade here, and I've learned these trucks, they'll come in here and spin their tires, so I take a little bit of time and just roll the tracks over this. The tracks are going to compact this much better than just the bucket will. I mean, how many tons does that thing weigh? And it really does compact it down. I mean, it becomes almost like concrete here. So what I sort of visualize in my mind is, when I first dragged, there was this little depression here where the tires of the trucks normally go. So I came a little bit more in the middle and I moved some of that over. But as the water flows through here, and it will rip through here during heavy rains, so now I got to make sure I don't have a hump here. So I'm basically, the middle of my skid steer is right here, and I'm just sort of knocking that down flat. And you can see, hopefully, that is almost a perfect grade. I mean, that is just perfect right in here, nice and smooth. Just sitting here reflecting for a minute. It's been 3.5 years since we bought this piece of crap and turned it into something beautiful. But I'll give you an example. See this gravel road here? that didn't exist. That gravel road, this whole thing was just clumping fescue. And all I did was pick the tallest, the highest spot in this place and start clearing and start dumping gravel. And I quickly learned the lesson that just putting down gravel will not stop these sinkholes, these sink mud holes. You actually have to shape the road with the existing soil first, then start putting down crush and run. I did put down a couple, we did gravel here twice, but I've done crush and run twice. And the crush and run is it. I mean, by far, without a doubt. It's just going to lock everything up, and it's so much easier to work with. It's so much easier to drive on. The only thing is, if you get in a drought situation, it's going to be a little dusty, but I don't care. I'd rather have a little dust than the gravel, especially if you have someone like UPS likes to zip through here, and that gravel, they'll shift on that gravel. The crush and run, they won't shift. Oh, man. All right, folks. I think I'm done. Now I got to go pick up rocks off the lawn because I did get some rocks on the lawn. All right, so let me give you a couple of tips. We'll talk about the cost of this and a few tips that I think are really important. Gravel has gone up in price big time. I used to pay about $500 a load for this crusher run, and now it's probably $6 something. The other tip I'll give you, and I know this is controversial, you'll probably hear someone say, I can do this with a dump truck. You cannot match the spreader trucks to a dump truck, especially when you're using these little areas, and you cannot get a consistent small application with a dump truck. I don't care what anyone says. If you need to back into this little corner a couple of times and run that spinner, try and find someone that has these spreader trucks. Next tip. If you're going to get a skid steer, and I've got all these, so I've got this road that goes all the way up to the fields, it comes back around, it goes around the house, goes all the way up, it's 2,000 feet. Well, I've got little areas that I might want to touch up myself. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll have them bring one extra load, and those spinner trucks he'll just go and stop, and he'll dump that whole load and leave me a pile, so they can still dump it. And what I'll do is I'll be able to go into, let's say there's a little area like this little pathway that goes behind the house to the shed. He can't get maybe back over here near those trees. So I'll take the skid steer and do some little touch-up work. So my suggestion is have an extra load dropped off if you got a lot of work to do. So you're looking at probably about $600 depending on where you are for each load of crush or run. I would say the spread is about 120, between 100 and 150 yards at the pace that you saw in that video of him spreading is what one truck will do. Cost of the skid steer. More than like I get mine from Sunbelt Rentals, and the best way to rent a skid steer is not by the day but by the week. So line up a bunch of different projects that you've got. It's like $500 a day or $1,200 a week. Hello, McFly, rent it for a week. So not only did I do all my gravel work out here, but once again, we had that septic drain field issue. So I brought in a truckload, 18 yards of topsoil. I had some huge, see those brown spots? That's that topsoil. I had some massive holes out here on this little area back here, but my drain field, which is new to this house, kept settling down, and it's gonna do that. So last year I brought in dirt. This year, after that 13-inch rain, we had a little issue. So you can see here, I brought in more, and I spread this, and I used a skid steer over here. I put it over here. Then I had a couple little areas I wanted to clear on the woods. So it's not just using it for this. It's a great time to just line up some projects, look for a break in the weather, and go ahead and get that thing. I think that's it. If you have any questions, drop them down below. I'll try and watch the comments and see if there's any questions. But I also, by the way, I don't like the foot controls. I can't stand foot controls on that thing. Learn how the joysticks are so easy. So when you rent a skid steer, get a smooth bucket, not the one with teeth. You want a bucket with the smooth bucket, so you can do your spreadling, and get the ones with the hand control. And all you got to do is just hit that right button and drop it, and it releases all the hydraulic pressure on that bucket, it falls down and it follows the road. It'll follow that road nice and smoothly. And I think that's it, but I'm done. Now this will hold me probably, I'm done for probably a good year and a half. Now if I had to pave this, if you want to, it cost me $250,000 to pave this. So I end up spending probably about $4,000 every year and a half to maintain all of these roads, which sounds like a lot until you realize that this is our main infrastructure. This is our main road work, and it's over 2,000 feet. So anyways, that's it. Hope it helped you. If you have any questions, drop it down below. I'll talk to you later. Doc.